How's it going, everybody? The Omega Fallen Dimension is back, and I wanted to put out a refresher guide. This is going to be a shorter version of the big guide when this event first came out, where we did it with minimal stars, right? We beat this whole dimension with 3-star characters. I'm going to leave a link to that video. It's much more in depth, but it's also a lot longer, so if you're looking for a quick refresher, this is going to be the video for you. So let's get into it. And the first question is, why should you bother with the Fallen Dimension Omega? Gold. I think it's 3 million gold per run, so 6 million gold total, I think. Don't quote me on that. And it's fun. Yeah, the mode is actually fun. There's lots of fun strategies to go over. I had a lot of fun doing it on stream. The people that were on stream were doing it alongside me. There was a feeling of fulfillment when we beat the hard content, but it is by no stretch of the imagination something that you should feel you have to do mandatory for the Command Center event. You do not have to beat this for the Command Center event. You can get that just by doing the regular Fallen Dimension, which is an auto fest. There's no Gear Tier 20 in this. There's nothing crazy in this. So if you're doing this mode, it should just be for fun and maybe a little bit of gold at the end of the rainbow. Here are some secret strategies that we knew from before and we've applied here as well. When there are 5 enemies remaining, you should start holding your cooldowns unless you know that Silver Sable is going to be using her ultimate and still getting 5 more energy, because that's what you need for her to have her ultimate up for the following node, right? Because she's getting energy when Hitmonkey passive procs. Whenever any enemy dies, she's getting energy, but Electra is not giving energy on spawn. So although the raid rules are in effect for this game mode, they do not apply to Electra for whatever reason, okay? So just make sure you are managing your cooldowns properly. The big strategy for this whole game mode is going to be have Silver Sable ult up on spawn, have Silver Sable ult up in between waves, and make sure her ult is back up before you finish the node. That's the whole strategy for most of these nodes. ISO plays a huge role in this game mode. Fortifier and Daredevil Modern will make sure he's not getting one-shot to striker attacks. Skirmisher on Silver Sable will make sure she is actually landing the defense down from her passive. Striker on Hitmonkey is going to make sure that he is doubling up his stun. So when he stuns into a vulnerable, he does a striker attack that extends the stun's debuff. Raider on Punisher is going to make sure he's not eating up the vulnerables that you want Hitmonkey using. And Striker and Electra is just a nice little bit of extra damage. I found the extra bleeds Electra did were more beneficial than the extra damage Punisher would do, even though my Punisher is a lot bigger. Hit into vulnerables. Yes, a lot of people don't really know the Vigilantes kit inside and out. In raids, you hit into vulnerables, that equals speed bar, equals good. So you want to hit into vulnerables as much as possible. In fact, we're going to go over 3 nodes in this video where the enemy's whole goal is to stop you from hitting into vulnerables. And thus, there's some dangerous characters that might survive, right? So we're going to talk about ways to circumvent that. So you want to make sure you hit into vulnerables. 4th is going to be to hunt down strikers. Although Daredevil Modern with his Fortifier is going to clear any vulnerables anytime he takes a turn, we still want to hunt down strikers because there's going to be windows of opportunity for the enemies where there's a skirmish character that goes that is followed directly by a striker character, and that can absolutely just wreck your Daredevil. If your team is now built up, if you have 1 or even 2 diamonds on Daredevil Modern, he's no longer going to die to 1 striker attack. But if you have them still at 5-6 stars, he will absolutely get 1 shot. I remember when I was doing this with 3 yellow star characters, he was getting 1 shot. And the final tip is that a burnt node equals no more mods. I say mods, like we think about mods like Danger Room. That's not what I mean. There's nodes where characters spawn with like 5 safeguard and 3 offense up and blah, 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 blah. If you do a burn attack, they no longer spawn like that. That's sort of like Scopely's way of artificially making the nodes more difficult on the first hit, but making sure you can still get through the node after you do one attack into it. You can one-shot all these nodes, especially if your team is now farmed up, because this team is farmable in the stores, right? And just for the record, I don't hate that they do that. I do not hate that they give certain characters like Void Knight a bunch of dodges and safeguard and everything like that to increase the difficulty, because if it was just a regular Void Knight, they would just instantly explode, and it kind of creates more of an interesting puzzle. Anyway, I digress. We're now going to go over nodes 5, 9, and 12, the final node, because I think those are the most interesting, and I'll show you the strategies I use to get through those nodes. And again, I'll leave a link to the video where we did this with 3 yellow star characters, because those strategies are going to be a lot more thought out, a lot more slow playing, and you can utilize those to get through the mode, especially if your team's not as well built. All right, guys, let's get into it. Alright, for the gameplay, at least for this video, I'm just going to show nodes 5, 9, and 12. I think those are the hardest nodes because they control your vulnerables, which controls the amount of speed bar you're allowed to kind of generate for your own team. So we're just going to go over those nodes here. This is from my previous video when I did this with 3-star Vigilante characters. I still had 3 diamonds on Punisher. You'll be able to see the team power in the bottom left corner here. I'll leave a link to that video. It is a 2-hour video, but it's a much more in-depth guide and can definitely help you get through this mode if you're so inclined. Alright, so here we go. This is node 5. Apparently, when I had 3-star characters, it took me about 43 minutes total. This is for 3 million gold, mind you. So again, you're doing this for the love of the game. You're doing this for fun. You're doing this for 3 million gold, okay? So, to start this node off, what we're going to do is we're going to stun the Icarus. The second bounce from Hitmonk is going to go over to Thanos Endgame. And then I'm going to take out the Silver Sable and the Cloak. Now, because I had lower star characters here, remember, these characters are now farmable. I mean, you're not guaranteed to have them at diamonds or anything like that, right? But they are farmable. You should be able to get through this a lot easier. Now, I get rid of the Cersei, I get rid of the Cloak, and then I start slow playing. I start doing basics. I start taking my time so that these gladiators get their ult up, which applies taunt to them, and then I wait out that taunt, which allows Silver Sable to build her cooldowns back up, and all of a sudden, I don't need to kill 5 enemies in order for her to replenish her cooldowns and get that ultimate available again. I just need to take out 4, maybe even 3, depending how slow you play, depending on the stars of your characters. But what we want to set up, essentially, is we want to set up Sable to have her ultimate heading into Wave 2. We want to make sure we take out Endgame Thanos before that second wave drops in, so vulnerables are back on the table. Remember, Gladiator stops vulnerables if there's 3 Annihilators. And there's 2 Gladiators, 1 Thanos. That is technically 3 Annihilators, alright? So you see I'm taking my time. The reason we take out the Cersei and the Cloak is because they apply vulnerables, which could lead to a dead Daredevil Modern through a Striker attack. We take that off the table, and we're kind of good. We now have waited out the Safeguard ultimates from the Gladiators. It's go time, so I take out the Thanos Endgame here as fast as I can. You see, I could have used her ultimate. So it actually took me that long, but I didn't want to do that. We want to wait for these photons to drop in. These photons have like 140 speed stat. They'll take a bazillion turns if you let them take any. We want to make sure we can control them and or kill them as quickly as possible. You can control them, of course, with the Hit Monkey stun. They both have the highest damage, so it will default to both of them. Or they have a lot of damage, but they're super squishy. As you're going to see here, this 3-star Hit Monkey is going to obliterate this photon with a special. If that was a basic, that's just a dead photon right there. The extra bleeds, the Striker attack, that's just dead. This is a Gear Tier 20 Punisher at this point as well. 3 diamonds, he does his special, he nearly kills them. Electric comes in and finishes the job. So you can see, this node's not so bad as long as you play that first wave correctly. Let's head on over to node number 9 now. Alright, for node number 9, I actually had to switch Sable to a Fortifier because she was so low stars. That shouldn't be your case here. Like, if you ever at 5, 6, or 7, or maybe diamonds by this point, then that's just not an issue. You don't have to worry about her getting one shot. The big thing here is, like we had to control the first wave and take out that endgame Thanos so we can get vulnerables, we need to do the same thing here. By stunning the Landra, we're able to get vulnerables up on the Havocs, the Starjammer characters, and from there we're able to go. Now, with lower star characters, you have to play this a lot differently than with higher star characters. The way I did it this time is I actually just took out the lizards. I stunned the Lilandra off rip, like you're going to see here. I got the buffs off the Havoc, and then I took out the old stat characters. I took out the lizards because, unlike Annihilators, Lilandra only stops vulnerables on Starjammers. You'll notice the vulnerables stay on the lizards. The vulnerables stay on the gladiators. So I want to do as much splash damage as possible, making sure I'm always hitting to a vulnerable, while also trying to get these buffs off the Havocs, because they will absolutely devastate you with the amount of damage they do. Make sure your ISOs are correct here. Here I had Punisher as a striker. That's a big mistake, because I could have hit into more vulnerables had he not eaten the vulnerable on the Havoc while Lilandra was stunned. Electra would have hit him, and it would have been a lot faster. We would have got more vulnerables. There is a way that you can actually lap this Lilandra. If your Electra gets a kill on a lizard with her ultimate, then I do believe you get to lap this Lilandra and stun her in time. That's actually what we're going to do on the final node, which is why I know that that's how that speed works out. But I digress. You see here, we're going the long way about it. We're going into these Starjammers here with our 3-star characters. Go for the lizards instead. I kind of end up defaulting to that, I believe, which is kind of funny. You see I start going for the lizard. The lizard's going to drop here. Yeah, drop them. Drop them, Dorky. All right, there we go. Old footage for sure. We know these nodes a lot better now. So you see, we end up going for the lizards to take them all out. That's going to make Hitmonkey probably get enough energy to use ultimate again. We then stun the Lilandra, and we kind of rinse repeat. See, even these 3-star characters can take the hits as long as they're full life when they come. Ooh, see, big mistake. Once again, because we didn't have Raider on Punisher, we actually didn't get the extra vulnerables that we would have liked. At least we have a vulnerable up here, though Electra eats it right away. You see our Daredevil getting absolutely ripped apart, but he survives. 3-star Daredevil survives, so no one else should really have an excuse here, I don't think. And there's Hitmonkey stun is back up. I believe the default is Lander. She has the highest life. So now vulnerables are back on the table. We've gotten our cooldowns back up. Our Silver Sable survived at the time she needed Fortifier for this. She's not going to for you guys. And we start going through the motions now. Hopefully here, yeah, hopefully I learned my lesson. And we start going for these vulnerables. Yeah, see, look, oh my god, he figured it out. He even hovered the mouse over it. What a guy. All right, so then we kept doing our work, and then he avoided a vulnerable after that. Come on, man. You're killing me here. You're making me look so stupid. Oh, you didn't have to hit into it. The chain attack would have got one of them. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. So now we have the offense up on Silver Sable. Didn't land any of her slows at 3 stars. Kind of hard to land cooldowns on these guys, but we eventually get it. And this is the proper way to go about this node. You kill everyone but the Starjammers. You stun the Landra when you get the opportunity to. You spread out that damage. You get your buffs back up on your Vigilante characters, and away you go. But the node doesn't actually end after this first wave, okay? This first wave is definitely harder than the second wave, but the second wave absolutely drops in with a little bit of a scare. You do not want to put yourself in stealth. When the Dawkins come out, if you put yourself in stealth, especially if you steal Dawkins' stealth with like your Punisher and put your whole team in stealth, he'll take like 30 turns and he'll instantly kill you. So you definitely want to avoid that on the second wave. I'm hoping that I actually drop the second wave soon. I'm glad we're on ×2 speed, because it's like a 14-minute fight. There is a second wave. We see we get the Hitmonkey stun back up. I believe Silver Sable's probably going to have her ultimate back up for the next one as well. Lilandra got stunned again, which means we were able to get some vulnerable hits. There we go. We strip the buffs off. We're starting doing all this kind of damage, and we go for the Dawkins. Go for the old stat characters. They do a lot of damage. They have interesting mechanics, but boy, are they squishy, and that's how we're able to get through this node a lot cleaner. We're going to end this here, obviously. We're just going to go through the motions. We're going to get this done. Let's head on over to that final node, because that final node, I played it the same way this run as I did last run, which I think you'll be surprised what it is. All right, so this is no longer the 3-star content. This is from yesterday. This is my live roster. I do have some diamonds on some of these characters. We're going to play this differently. If you have 3-star characters, you kind of have to do a burn attack off rip. I don't think that's super relatable. Now this team is farmable. So what I'm doing instead is I'm hitting into vulnerables and I'm setting up the Cosmic Ghost Rider to die to an Electra ultimate. That's going to allow Electra to get an extra turn, which allows Hitmonkey to lap the Lilandra and refresh the stun on her, which is exactly what we're going to do here. And I'm sorry about the resolution. It's because it's a YouTube VOD. So you see we're getting the laps in, and now we've extended that stun on the Lilandra, which means I can still get vulnerables on the Howard, and we kind of just go through the motions there. We start turning our attention to those old stat characters, the Cosmic Ghost Rider. We don't like his passive being in effect here, where every time we ult, they get a bunch of barrier. So we want to take that off the table. And this is exactly what we're going to do. And essentially what I'm trying to do, you can one-shot this node. You absolutely could. If I wanted to do more than the 2 attempts I did on this node, you could set this up for a one-shot. It would be exactly like every other node so far. You would make sure that Silver Sable is going to be getting her turn when the second wave drops in and her ultimate is ready to go, followed by Hitmonkey ultimate. And if you could set that up, then you'll be fine. For what it's worth, with the long cooldown timer in between the runs of the Omega Dimension, I just, like, who cares? Just 2-tap this node. Don't use any heals. Do it over 2 days. It feels a little bit better. The rewards, again, it's just gold. So it's just for fun that we're doing this, right? It's for a nice little challenge. So I didn't want to get too sweaty about it. Anyway, you can see we got the Howard out. We got those Cosmic Ghost Riders and the Robbie Reyes out of there as well. Silver Sable Ultimate is ready. And I'm trying to take my time dropping the extra characters, but I make a big mistake here. I take the Oath out and I take the Lilandra out, and Silver Sable is not yet ready for her turn. And then I keep hitting the vulnerables. By hitting to vulnerables repeatedly, it made Silver Sable bypass the 100% turn bar. What I should have done is when there was Oath and Elandra left, I should have only hit the Man Thing and just kept hitting the Man Thing because I didn't want to drop this wave in without Silver Sable to take a turn, because watch what these Havocs are going to do as soon as I hit them, right? Big damage with that offense up, and I'm still stuck on this Red Guardian. That's not what I wanted to have happen. Also, they resisted the offense up strip from the Silver Sable ultimate. That's another thing that if I wanted to one-shot this, I might have to reset, because as you see, they just instantly kill my Daredevil Modern. And so I ended up coming in with a cleanup attack, and that's what I want to do instead. I was not going to keep redoing this node over and over and over and over again, as we had to before. We had to before to get the good RNG. You can get the good RNG a little bit easier this time, but if you want a nice little relaxed version of it, this is what I did. I dropped the second wave in, did what I can, started saving some cooldowns, didn't have much cooldowns going into it. You can see I paused the game. I'm thinking, do I care? No, I don't care. Let it end. We'll come back in, we'll clean it up. They will not spawn with offense up on the follow-up attack, and then we go from there. And that's it, guys. That's going to be kind of it as far as this refresher guide goes. Once again, if you want to check out the 3 yellow star version or 3 red star version of these nodes we did earlier, the enemies are the exact same. The biggest threat is still the striker attacks, or the nodes that are set up so that you're supposed to die at certain points, like the Havocs you just saw. We don't have to reset on them now that we have the characters bigger. But it's set up that you need to be able to control those, or you're going to have a bad time. And without any heals, you probably want to one-shot it. Anyway, let me know how you felt about the Fallen Dimension Omega. It was definitely a nice challenge without these crazy rewards, so nobody can say like, oh, you know what, they ruined the game because the gap between people that can do this and can't do this is so wide. No, it's kind of just for fun. It's a nice little difficult challenge. Let me know what you think about that and how you feel about content like that in general. But for now, I'll see you guys later. Peace.